This is figure 2, the dormant woody stem from the stem morphology lab. We will go over the external features of the dormant stem, including the terminal bud. Inside the terminal bud is a apical meristem, which is protected by these bud scales. These bud scales are modified leaves that fall off and allow for growth in the spring. When they fall off, those bud scales will form a terminal bud scale scar, and so you can age a stem by looking for these terminal bud scale scars. Each would represent a year's worth of growth. So the oldest part of this stem down here would be 3 years old. So this region would be 2 years, then 1 year, and then the terminal bud will have next year's growth. A stem is defined by having nodes and internodes. A node is a point where a branch or a leaf attaches, and an internode is the region between nodes. This node shows a leaf scar where a leaf fell off in the fall. There's another one. We will talk more about leaves in the leaf morphology lab, but leaves tend to have an axillary bud, where new leaves, new branches, or reproductive organs can form. These can also be found in a dormant stem. These have the potential of forming new growth next year, including new stem, which happen from this leaf's axillary bud. This is a new branch formed from an axillary bud of another leaf. There are living cells within the wood of this stem, and those cells need oxygen for cellular respiration. So there are lenticels. These are abrasions in the wood that allow for gas exchange. Let's go outside and look at a real stem. This is a dormant stem from the tree to heaven. Remember that it is in the genus Ailanthus. Ailanthus is deciduous, meaning that it loses its leaves in the fall. I collected the stem in the winter of last year. Plants grow from their tips. This is the terminal bud. This is a side branch terminal bud. If I had not collected the stem, in the spring it would have come out of dormancy and started to grow from the tips. The main tip down to this branch point was the previous year's growth. How can I know? I can see bud scale scars. I will show details of these bud scale scars in a bit. There's also a region of bud scale scars here, and down here, and some more right there. These form every year, and they allow you to age the stem. Now let's take a closer look at the stem. This again is the terminal bud for our dormant stem. Stems are defined by having nodes and internodes. A node is that part of the stem where a branch or a leaf attaches. This node shows a leaf scar where a leaf fell off in the fall. The purposeful shedding of leaves is called leaf abscission. The region between nodes are called internodes. So there's a node there, 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 there. So that would be an internode. There's an internode. Here we have a nice leaf scar. So we can look at some of the details of it. Remember, leaf scars form from where the leaf has fallen off the branch. You can just make out where the vascular bundles led into the leaf. Notice at the top of the leaf scar, the big axillary bud. Axillary buds have the potential to form a new branch, a new leaf, or a new reproductive structure come next year's growth. Speaking of annual growth, from the terminal bud all the way down to this region of bundle scale scars is 1 year's growth. So these here are terminal bud scale scars that formed from the terminal bud of last year's growth. It forms because these bud scales are modified leaves, and so this area is just tightly packed with node, internode, node, internode, node, internode, and it forms this scar tissue that can be recognized as the point where the stem went dormant. I've noticed that Ailanthus forms a new branch at the node just below the terminal bud each year. So this is the branch formed, and it itself has a terminal bud. So this part of the branch is 2 years old. Year after year, as wood growth and bark grows, the leaf scars get harder and harder to recognize. In a few years, you won't recognize them at all as more wood and bark grows to cover them. Often the axillary bud remains, even hidden in the wood, and you can have new branch grow through the wood. Hey, look, there are some labels I used in the past for exams. So we're just moving down our branch till we come to our next region of terminal bud scale scars. So the stem to the left is 2 years old. To the right, it's 3 years old. You can see a difference in the external structures there. And you can see the terminal bud scale scars. Also notice all the lenticels. The lenticels are those regions on the bark that are a little lighter in color, and they are areas of raised regions of thin cell-walled cells that allow for gas exchange between the outside and the cells inside. Here we've come to the next region of terminal bud scale scars, representing another year's growth. And again, we have a branch that had been formed. The stem below this terminal bud scale scar region is 4 years old, but this stem here would have started growing from that, so it's only 3 years old. But unfortunately, you can't age it all the way up because it broke off. But there, up to that branch, is 1 year's worth of growth. Notice on this 4-year-old region, it's even hard to see the leaf scars. And we can follow this down to the next terminal bud scale scars. So below there would be 5 years growth. And notice it's becoming more challenging to see the terminal bud scale scars as again the internal wood and the bark begins to make them less apparent. So there's another label from an old exam asking how old that part of the branch is. So right there, it's 5 years old. And it's over 12 feet long, but we're keeping it metric, so it's just under 4 meters. Ailanthus, tree to heaven, grows to the heavens fast.